Your local news is next, followed by an all-new SNL with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Have you discovered NBC Monday? It all starts with Surface. 3 strangers have found something in the water. In the only show critics compare to the Spielberg classics.
Now!
And Monday, don't miss the ultimate discovery.
I know where it comes from.
Then, on Las Vegas, he thought he had a new girlfriend. But this is Vegas.
I really like you, Danny.
She's just gone.
There is no evidence that a crime's been committed here.
And Big Ed has had it.
Here's the deal. I quit.
And on Medium, she'll go head-to-head in the ultimate showdown. Medium versus medium.
This just might be a first for the American justice system.
All leading to the vision she's feared most. Discover Surface, Vegas, and Medium Monday on NBC.
The family about their son's killer, and millions are affected by this disease every year. Find out what some in the metro area were doing in the fight.
You're watching the WLBT 10 p.m. report.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Roslyn Anderson. With the National Weather Service issuing a hurricane watch for all of southern Florida, preparations kicked into high gear today. Mandatory evacuations are now in effect for the barrier islands as well as the Florida Keys. People are boarding up buildings and securing boats, hoping to protect property from Wilma's wrath. Many families are also choosing to evacuate from Florida's western and southern coasts. The storm is expected to make landfall early Monday as a Category 2 or 3 storm. While Florida awaits Wilma, Tropical Storm Alpha formed in the Atlantic, setting the record for the most named storms and marking the first time forecasters had to use the Greek alphabets for names. We go now to meteorologist Eric Law in the Weather Lab for the latest on these 2 storms. Eric?
All right, the new advisory coming in. Let's go over to the satellite, and Hurricane Wilma now back out over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico tonight after making a second landfall across the northeastern part of the Yucatan Peninsula. Now the storm moving back out over warmer waters, and that means it's going to get its energy source and does have the potential to regain a little bit of intensity. The center of the storm now 21.8 north, 86.9 west, with maximum sustained winds near 100 miles per hour. Still moving very slowly to the north at 3 miles per hour. Hurricane warnings now being issued across all the Florida Keys and a good chunk of the western part of the Florida Peninsula and back down towards the Miami metro area as well. And also hurricane watches going up for northern parts of the Bahamas. This is Tropical Storm Alpha that is going to be making landfall along the island of Hispaniola as we go into the next couple of days. The winds with this particular system are at 52 miles per hour with the center of the storm at 17.7 north, 70.1 west, and moving to the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Looks like Alpha will stay below hurricane intensity. Coming up, more on these storms, plus a big cool down for us. Back to you.
Thanks, Eric. On Thursday, 18-year-old Chuck Griffin was killed. Witnesses say the driver of a speeding car is to blame. The driver was questioned but not arrested. The victim's father says he wants justice for his son. Maury Payton has that story.
Celebrating a birthday, Chuck Griffin's father is planning a funeral. Chuck died within hours of his 19th birthday when a car hit him on Dorgan Street. Police say the driver, 18-year-old Jarrell Jones, was questioned but not arrested.
Clearly, the speed of the vehicle involved had to be so excessive that there's no way to justify that kind of speed.
Charles Griffin Sr. is a well-known lawyer in Jackson. He and his son dreamed of practicing law together. His son's case will go to a grand jury, but Griffin wants an arrest now.
If there's probable cause, the judge issue a warrant and make an arrest.
Griffin says many witnesses saw the Mustang racing and out of control.
That driver clearly should be arrested or should have been arrested by now. And that wouldn't be doing any special treatment for me. That would be for anybody.
In Jackson, Maury Payton, WLBT News.
Police are still looking for a second driver who witnesses say was racing the Mustang. If you have any information, call Jackson Police. An inmate at the East Mississippi Correctional Facility has been charged with helping 2 other inmates escape earlier this week. 23-year-old Kenneth Johnson has been charged with participating in the escape of Gregory Malone and Christopher Roy. Johnson is the 4th person to be charged related to the escape. Officials expect more arrests will be made. We're having some technical difficulties. A prison escapee, Tamika Brown, also faces a charge of aiding in the escape. Kenneth Johnson was already being held at Lost Gap, serving time for burglary from Lawrence County. Federal aid for Hurricane Katrina victims has been extended. President Bush today approved a measure that would extend the federal government's funding of debris removal and emergency services in storm-ravaged areas of the state. The federal government was already paying for the cleanup and protection of coastal Mississippi, but the reimbursement was set to run out 60 days after Hurricane Katrina slammed into the Gulf Coast. Local governments now have until November 26th to receive total coverage of law enforcement and cleanup expenses incurred as a result of the storm. A baby is still alive after police say he was left alone in an apartment for 3 weeks in Ohio. Taking a look around America tonight, the infant's mother, 20-year-old Ashley Traylor, has been arrested and charged with criminal abuse. Police say the 7-month-old baby was nearly lifeless when he was found at this apartment complex in Covington, Ohio. The baby boy had not eaten for 3 weeks and his diaper had not been changed. The child is now being treated for severe malnutrition and is in fair condition. Mount St. Helens is showing signs of life. The volcano is venting steam and ash. Scientists say a new lava dome inside the crater is growing. Small earthquakes have been detected coming from the volcano. Scientists warn that it could erupt with little warning and cause dangerous conditions several miles from the crater. The volcano last erupted in 1980, killing 57 people. Coming up on the WLBT 10 p.m. report, hundreds took part in an effort this morning to fight a disease that affects over 3 million Americans each year.
If you have a story idea, call Star TV 3 on your cellular South phone or any of these numbers, or go to WLBT.com.
Geez, that's a big truck.